Are you ready?
Oh my God, you're so loud.
Well,
Stop
it's because
yelling
I
at
have a
me.
mic.
Well,
That's
stop yelling. Well, send me mine.
I lost it. I have no clue where it is.
Of course you
I
did.
lost it. I lost it in the move.
So we can't have nice things.
I no, we can't have nice things because you refuse to buy them.
Well, I thought you were gonna send me one. Why would I buy one if you're gonna send me one?
True, you're gonna have to buy one. Today's podcast is brought to you by Birdie Brain. If you are looking to increase stamina, elevate focus, and hydrate with an artificial sweetener-free superior nootropic, then you need Birdie Brain. Birdie Brain is specially formulated to provide golfers with the key nutrients they need to excel on the course. With a blend of essential vitamins, minerals, and nootropics, Birdie Brain is designed to support hydration, focus, and cognitive function, helping you achieve your best golf game yet. Stay focused on your next shot with Birdie Brain's powerful combination of natural nootropics to keep those scores low, such as lion's mane mushroom powder. Birdie Brain's ultimate hydration formula with sea salt, coconut water extract, magnesium, sea minerals, and potassium will keep you fueled for all 18 holes and then some. Visit getbirdiebrain.com and sign up for email notifications to get 15% off your first order and never miss out on exclusive offers. Tell them the boys at Fairway Forecheck sent you. I use Birdie Brain anytime I need a pick-me-up. I've got some next to me right now, especially when I need to focus for a round or to shoot some content. My favorite flavor is the wild cherry, but pineapple mango and Arnold Palmer, you just can't go wrong with either. It's just good quality stuff. Visit getbirdiebrain.com for a limited time only. Get 3 flavors and receive 15% off and an official Birdie Brain shaker bottle. So what are you waiting for? Don't miss out on this great deal. Visit getbirdiebrain.com. Welcome back to a freshly squeezed episode of Fairway Forecheck's podcast. Our pets' heads are falling off. We may be having some technical difficulties. We don't know what's going on. We kind of sort of had to restart here, but we will hopefully it has figured itself out. But we are going to be bringing on very, very soon Mike Gennello, head coach of the Florida Eels in the USPHL Elite. But before we do that, we need to check in with the boys. And I mean the boys, I mean Spencer. Let's check in with Spencer. Spencer, how are you doing?
Good. Sunny, nice, and beautiful out here in Oregon. We're nice in the swing of golf season. Played last weekend, playing a couple times this weekend, so life's good out here.
Okay, now the question that broke the system last time. How is the weather?
I just told you it's sunny, it's beautiful, and it's golf season.
I know, I just had to redo it. I just had to make sure that it's not the question. It's not some kind of witchcraft question situation going on where one word kicks out the entire system. That's fantastic for you. We spoke a little bit yesterday. For everybody out there, I finally had my first actual hour-long, in-depth golf lesson. Franklin was fantastic. Franklin really broke it down. Now, here's why I liked Franklin. Basically, the first thing he said to me after I told him, he asked me what I wanted to work on. Basically said, I can't hit driver, and I want to be able to strike and compress my irons just a little bit more consistently. Okay, fantastic. Started off by basically saying, we offer lesson packages for a reason. Just so you're aware, like we're going to do as much as we can today in 1 hour, but it's not, you know what I mean? Like he's like, if you want to actually like continue, he's like, because you have to have, we started from the ground up. He's like, I can't just fit, I can't just like tweak one little thing and then all of a sudden your swing is fixed. So we recognize that the worst part of my game is my weight transfer. I don't get my hips through. I stay stuck. That back foot stays kind of down on the ground rather than
Yeah, your,
really
your
just
feet
like,
don't move. I noticed that too. I think the
yeah,
last time we went on a golf trip, I leaned over someone. I was like, it's like he doesn't move his feet.
yeah. And I really did not recognize that until a professional like really showed it to me on video and then showed me, he was like, this is the most extreme example. But then he pulls up a video of Kyle Berkshire hitting long drives. The dude's feet are like when he makes contact with the ball, his front foot is not even on the fucking ground. Like
Oh, it's
that's
like
how much he's
baseball.
like
Like
getting.
he is just absolutely getting
Yeah,
after
like
those. Like there's so much torque into it. His foot just fly. I mean, think of
yes,
Scotty Scheffler too. Like his back
yes,
foot swings through on those big ass drives.
yes. So we spent a lot of time on basically sitting front loaded, like already loading up my front foot, being way and like leaning way in front of the ball, and then swinging from there and like standing up out, like trying to like come up out of it. Basically, is what we were like is basically what I'm going to be working on at the range from now on. Which is really weird because it's like you can't take a full swing, which I don't really need to be taking. It's you know what I mean. Like it limits you to get to about right here, and then it forces you to come up, and then like you have to like stand and like stand. So it was pretty eye opening. I will give him that. I will be getting more lessons from him. Big shout out to him at Leonard Golf Links. He went 30 minutes over and gave me $30 off. So, I mean, for a guy who's charging as much as he's charging to teach golf, he didn't have to do that. He could have told me to fuck off right at the end of my hour. But you could tell he loves teaching like people, like things are starting to click for me. And you could tell he had like the coach attitude of like, well, if it's starting to click and we got time, I'm not going to stop. The wheels are in motion kind of thing. So that just fantastic job by Franklin. Really broke it down for me. Very eye opening. I've got actual things to work on now. Now the one thing he told me is do not think about this when you go play golf. He just said just swing. Just do your normal swing. He said what the point is you should start noticing like little bits of it will start creeping into your game in a good way. Like the mind will start like, it's like repetition.
It's supposed to be mindless when you swing. Is like if you start thinking about everything, that's when you hit a shitty shot and shank it.
He's like, do not go to the course this weekend because I'm going on. I told him I'm playing on vacation. He's like, do not go to the course thinking about, okay, I've got to transfer my weight. I need to be on my. He's like, just swing like you normally would, and when we're just gonna let the lesson kind of do its thing. So we're on our way.
Where are you going this weekend?
Gulf Shores. Taking the lady to the Gulf Shores. She needs a beach break. So we're going. We got 5 days in the Gulf, and then so I'm playing some beach golf. So we'll see.
Nice.
Yeah. Yep. Playing some beach golf. So we'll see. So I'm just gonna try to swing and just he did when he's like, what's your handicap? I was like, I'm a 13. He's like, that's good. I was like, yeah, I know people say that, but it's like, I want to be. It's just not good enough for me. We're just so competitive.
The difference between a 13 and a 9 is not that much, and
that's what he said.
So much cooler.
That's what he said. He's like, the difference between you and a 9, and I was like, what? He's like, they get the ball in the air. He was like, you don't hit it bad. He was like, you have a really low ball flight, which we'll fix. We'll get better at. And he's like, and you just don't. He's like, and obviously you can't get off the tee. He's like,
Then there's me who hits it to the moon, and then you're like, is that ball ever coming down?
Yeah.
So
see, I don't. Yeah,
we a happy medium between that too.
Now, by the end of me hitting some drives, I was actually hitting them pretty high. So we'll see. Hopefully, fix some kinks out. I do before we bring on, before we do our interview with head coach of the Florida Eels, Michael Gennello, I do need to shout out the Wish Cup. This past weekend, I had the fantastic opportunity to play some professional roller hockey for the Nuts Pro team at the Wish Cup, which is a Make-A-Wish Foundation event put on by a guy named Colby Collier in Nashville for his son, who was a Wish kid, Asher. And they do this every single year now, and they raise a shit ton of money. And it's just a shout out to the tournament. That is why we did not drop an episode last week. That is why, if you've noticed on our social media, I have been dropping a lot of different content with a lot of different people, quick snippets, quick interviews, things like that. Shout out to everybody who gave me their time. When you're a YouTube star, like a lot of those guys are, you can just tell some guy who's running a podcast. It helped that I was playing in the pro division and had some gear on that like they could see I was an actual player. That helped. But a lot of those guys could have just been like, I don't have 2 minutes for some little podcast thing. Everybody gave everybody every bit of their time, and it was fantastic to see. They signed, all those guys signed everything they could all day long, took as many pictures as they could. It was fantastic to see. And it's a content creator like podcast interview. I think we both should try to get down there next year together and do content together, because it's a dream. So I can't thank
It looks
everybody
like a
who.
super cool rink. Like the
It's
open.
two.
I really like these open-ended aspects of these roller rinks. I think
So
it's really neat.
it's good and bad. It's good and bad. It rained.
So I thought about that. So it probably condensates really bad in
Yeah.
certain areas. Because I was thinking about in Oregon that couldn't exist. But
Yeah.
in a place like California, which I saw, I think they had some sort of Narch tournament there over
The rinks in
weekend.
Irvine are very nice. They're technically
Yeah.
open, but they're technically also way more covered.
Yeah. Okay. So there's probably like more room on the ends, but they're like still
Yeah,
no walls. Kind
the
of thing.
rinks in Irvine are a lot more covered. I believe they paid a lot more for the fire hazard things that you have to do in order to cover it more, which the
You're a
city of
fire
Nashville.
hazard thing.
Why are there balloons going off behind me?
Why did balloons just go off behind your head?
No clue. We're just gonna
it's you. It's not me.
We're
It's
just gonna
you.
roll with it. But our first game, it was 2-1 going into the second half, and it got wet and rainy, in our end of the floor. So all the other team had to do was make one lateral pass, and our goalie could not even slice. So it's good and bad. Ended up being a fantastic tournament. We lost in the quarterfinals to the Tour Roadrunners, who went on to win the entire thing. I think it was $8,000 they got to take home, which I'm sure some of that was, it's good money. Good money for playing some roller hockey for the weekend. But shout out to the Wish Cup.
You don't have to pay anything. That probably like covers everybody's tournament fees after that. And,
it would have been nice.
It
would have been nice. Yeah, it would have been nice. I'm sure a little bit got donated back to all that good stuff. So shout out to everybody that was there. Shout out to the Wish Cup. But now, if you are ready, Spencer, shout out LeBeta. I'm just gonna say it's LeBeta. If you're listening, LeBeta, shout out you. Those whips are unreal. I was very skeptical at first because of the price when they dropped. I think I even made a couple chirps specifically about the price. But after skating on them in a level of that nature, just the pro division and being on those wheels and that rink and the still mat floor and it being really, really fast, fantastic product. They are very expensive. So if you can, find a team that gets a team discount, that's the way to go. But the LeBeta whips is an insane technology. There's no spacer in the inside of the wheel. The spacer goes on the outside of the wheel, and the wheel sits differently inside the chassis. So
broke my mind.
You take the wheel, you put the bearings straight into the wheel with no spacer in the middle. Then it comes with a special spacer that goes on the outside of each bearing, and then you put that into your chassis and then lock them in.
Okay.
It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. But shout out them. I finally got to use them. I was one of the cool kids. I did not get FOMO and was not left out on the whip. So fantastic product by LeBeta. Now, if you are ready, let's bring on head coach of the Florida Eels, Michael Gennello. All right. Well, we now welcome on someone who we really had to wait for the right time for, a very, very special guest. He hails from East Windsor, New Jersey. He's looking at me so smugly right now. Scored 36 points in 9 games, securing the first ever Israeli Elite Hockey League championship. Former captain, but forever captain of Hockey Club Tel Aviv. Gold medal winner for Team USA at the Maccabi Games. Head coach for the Florida Eels in the USPHL Elite. Please welcome to the Fairway Four Checks podcast, Michael Gennello. Stick taps for Gennello. It's man. Like I said, we had to wait for the right time. We really wanted to do one in person in Israel, but I only had one mic, and me and this guy with one fighting over one mic would just not. It just would not have. It would not have been good. So we had to wait. We also had to wait because he was going through a transition in coaching. He needed to wait to see where he was going to land. And then obviously we wanted to get it approved for him to come on so that we could do things totally kosher. You like that play on words there, so that we could do things that way, and do it the right way, and be professional and really get his opinion on some stuff in the current hockey landscape. So we can't thank you enough for coming on. First of all, how's it going, man? Are you in Florida? You're currently are you in your new spot? Are you
in my new spot in Florida, all set up? Everything's been going well. It's beautiful weather.
Is that the coach's office right there?
But yeah, we are in the coach's office. I tried. You cut me a little slim on the camera here, though. I tried hanging up some jerseys, making it look a little more professional. But
I didn't cut you. Riverside cut you. I didn't cut you. Don't.
We still see him. I see the black and the white back there.
Yeah,
There's some nice photos up there. I see him.
Yeah, I hung a few up. I was like, let's try to look as professional as possible here, huh?
So the first time me and you, not the first time we played, we'll get into that. The first time me and you met was actually, it's a story I'll never forget, because it's my first time. You'd obviously been to Israel before. You'd won the league championship the year before. It's my first time there. I land. I get told, everybody's at the same place the first night, pretty much. The league owner is telling me, just get in a cab. Here's how much it should cost. Let me know when you're here. I'll come out and pay for it. I know you don't have any Israeli money right now. So it's like, okay, cool. So he tells me it shouldn't be any more than 250 shekels, which is about 50, 60 American bucks, give or take, probably 10, depending on inflation and whatever. So I asked confirm with the cab, the cab runner, that it's going to be around there. Guy, he tells me yes. I get in the cab. We get to the spot. And luckily, I was out of the cab and pulled my stuff out of the cab very, very quickly. But we did not go anywhere, as Tal, our buddy, and this cab driver proceed to just start screaming at each other in Hebrew on the side of the road. And I'm standing there very wide-eyed. I'd never been in a foreign country like that. I did not know the Israeli Hebrew culture, as far as even if you're yelling, it's just a shouting match. Who can yell the loudest and who can intimidate the other person the most is going to end up winning the argument. And I did not. It was absolutely wild. Almost ended up with me getting kidnapped and taken back. Spencer, the guy, at one point, I asked, and Gennello is just standing. I didn't know him yet. My other buddy, who I did know, was standing there. They're looking at me like, you just have to let it happen. Like, this is a thing. Yeah. And so it gets. So finally, my buddy hands him money. He drives off after they get into a fuck you match. And I'm like, what? The guy at one point said, if I wanted the ride for that much amount of money, I could get back in the cab. He would take me back to the airport and I could find a new cab driver, which I still don't know how financially that makes sense for him. But I think it was just a pissing contest. You guys, this isn't me. This is you guys. This is not.
It's clearly you.
Hey, come on.
Okay. All right. Well,
he tried to accuse it of being me, and now we have confirmation it's him. So that makes me feel better.
Okay, am I frozen right now?
I'll call Stinch out for all this shit. Yeah, you're still frozen.
I'm frozen?
Well, you were for like half a second. Yeah. You got some pretty shitty connection going on. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Dude, I'm okay.
That Texas Wi-Fi. Would you guys fix that? There's nothing to stop it. There's nothing in the state.
I have chickens. Okay, what the fuck? I don't live I don't live in the middle of a giant city, and we've been having a lot of power issues. Anyways, I almost got kidnapped. He tried taking me back to the airport for the price that I wanted to get the cab ride for, which I don't know how financially that makes sense for him. But that was the first time, before the story got ruined by your two bad internets, the first time Gennello and and I officially met. So Spencer, why don't you start with your first official question for Mike here, and then we'll get into some other stuff.
So it sounds like you went out there for a few years to play in Israel. So I guess, like, how many years did you go out? Kind of, how did you hear about it? What made you want to go out there? Kind of that whole thing and that whole journey.
Sure. So yeah, I've gone out there for 3 summers. It's been a blast. I've loved going out there. I kind of got into it. It's kind of funny. So my senior year of college hockey would have been the year that COVID kind of canceled a whole bunch of stuff. And, I played at Framingham State, which is a small D3 school up in Massachusetts. And
okay, I had a friend that played up there.
Sure,
probably a few years before you, but
okay.
Yeah.
We were not one of the lucky divisions that got to continue to play during COVID. We were completely shut down. So Losing our senior season was a little bit tough. And there was a lot of guys that were seniors graduating who they didn't want that to be the end of their hockey career, right? Like you're planning for a whole senior season and then it's just like canceled and you're done with hockey. You got to go into the real world. So a bunch of us were just like looking for any avenue to continue playing. And it actually wasn't even me. It was one of my teammates who had gotten hit up on Facebook by either Tal or by whoever it was trying to connect into the league. And he's like, yeah, honestly, that's probably not for me, but I got a guy who's perfect for that. Actually, like his family lives over there, his brother lives over there, so it just kind of worked out perfectly. I got in touch with Tal from there, and been going back every summer. This will be my first summer not going back since then. So it's been a super cool experience. I've loved every minute of going over there and getting the opportunity to play.
Do you have plans to go back again, or do you think you're hanging them up from there?
Yeah, no, I'll go back. I'll for sure go back. I definitely don't want to be done.
We all want to go back.
Yeah, we'll get into it maybe a little bit later in the pod, but just where I'm at in my coaching career and trying to, establish myself as a coach in the States and everything, it just wasn't in the plans for this summer. But yeah, I have every intention of going back and being a part of the community, being a part of the league, and hopefully continuing to grow a sport that I love in a country that I love, right? So yeah, I have every intention of going back.
And did you play for the same team all 3 years? I mean, I know Stinch has gone back, but is that kind of how that works? Is you're always kind of on that team?
Yeah, so it's pretty cool how it was set up. I was the first year that I went was the first year in the league, obviously, and it kind of got delegated the whole captain situation, right? Just kind of they threw captains on whoever was the most experienced person there. Coming from college hockey, I was the most experienced person from my team, so. They slapped the C on, and Stinch will tell you I'm pretty competitive and pretty loyal when it comes to like the team. So once they strapped the C onto my chest, it was destined. I was never gonna leave.
So we might as well just start there. Tell them, Gennello and I are almost the same person. We're very, very different, but at the same time, the wires like cross sometimes in the same way. Yep. We're also good in the fact that like when the wires cross, I will look for validation and Gennello will be like, no, you're a fucking idiot. And then same thing, like the wires will cross for him and he'll be like, was that fucked up? And I'll be like, yeah, you're kind of an idiot for that one. So that's kind of our relationship, but talk about the first time, because I want it from you. Talk about the first time we actually played each other and how we completely mushed each other beforehand. We just jinxed each other right from the start.
It goes like way even before the first time we played. The first time, like you had said, you gotten out of that cab and it was your first experience in a foreign country. And then I think we took you to either like a bar or we were just like having some beers in an apartment or whatever it was. And we were like talking about the game, and me and you just kind of looked at each other and we're like, yeah, we're probably going to fight each other at some point over the season. Like it's just probably it's destined to happen. Right. And then we were playing each other opening night. It was one of the biggest crowds that the league has ever had. They had like bust-in youth camps. It was pretty packed in the building. And Stinchy, like the donkey that he is, comes flying up the side of the ice with his head down, tries to like flip a little puck and be cute like he's playing roller cutting through the middle. And I flying elbow Jacob Troubadour him right to the chin. It was pretty dirty hit, to be honest with you, looking back at it now. It's the first time I've admit that, hey? But
it's the first time.
Yeah, it was a bit of a dirty hit, but I clipped him clean, and both of our wires just snapped, and Stinch's gloves were off before I knew it, and we were tussling. I don't even think anybody threw any punches.
But, because you dummied yourself in the process, and I didn't realize that, and so I didn't know it was you. So when and then B, looking back on it, we're both morons because when you look back on the hit, you gave me the lane to the net. I just wanted to make the move for no reason. I had so much speed built up that you in your mind were like, Wade, it was like a business decision for you. You were like, okay, I'll give him the lane, but if he comes down here, something's going to happen. And my dumbass chose to just not take the clear. If I would have taken that lane to the net, I probably would have just scored just because it was just that, whatever.
So, you probably would have found a way to miss the net. But.
Yeah, true. Anyways, fuck you. That happens, and I didn't know it's Gennello but at that point the wires had crossed anyways, and he had knocked the wind out of himself in the process, like, of the hit. So I go to like grab him to fight him, and all I can hear is
I'm laying on top of Timothy. People are trying to like grab us apart, separate us, and I'm just on top. Couldn't even breathe because I had knocked the wind out of myself. But yeah, with that. Then we got kicked out, and
that was the worst part. That was the worst part. So that particular summer, there was so many miscommunications between the league and the refs as far as what the actual, are we playing IIHF rules? Are we playing NHL rules? Or like, what rules are we playing? So we get tossed, and I'm confused as to like, because I fully expected it, like any kind of fighting or anything like that was just going to be a 5-minute major for whatever it was. But so we get tossed. We're both now not mad at each other. We're like shaking hands, hugging it out. Now we're mad at the league. Like, why the fuck are we kicked out? So we're like hand in hand, like with white picket signs, like in each jersey after we just got thrown out because we fought each other, going like, why are we not in the game?
Yeah, it was funny. We go from like screaming at each other face to face to like 30 seconds later, we're like on the same side, screaming at everybody else, trying to get back into the game. It was,
but that speaks to hockey right there. Is like, you can literally fight each other, and then it's just done. Like right then and there,
it would literally
back to being like buddies, gentlemen, and the whole thing.
Yeah. That's the beauty of our game, and being able to police it ourselves, right? You take exception to something that somebody does, and it's, you're not looking for a way out, or you're not looking for somebody to come save you. No, it's like that's part of our game. You police it yourself. You're not happy about something that somebody did. You take it into your own hands, and you handle matters your own way. So I think that's part of the beauty of the game that we get to play. So I got no problem with that at all.
So the landscape of junior hockey, just in general right now, is pretty crazy. We've learned that Canadian juniors are no longer going to lose eligibility for NCAA, which is going to completely change the college hockey landscape. It is obviously going to take time, but we're going to see small trickle-down effects from all of that start affecting junior leagues all over the country. So for anybody listening who just may be out of the loop on junior hockey in general, what is the USPHL Elite? What is the USPHL, and where does that kind of fall in line as far as the junior scale of hockey in the U.S.? And what level are kids playing for you in the USPHL Elite? Where are they trying to get to after they leave the Florida Eels? Is it more juniors? Is it a higher? Froze again? I froze again?
Yeah, you froze again, but I got you probably right at the end, right before you froze.
So a kid who plays for you for Florida, for the USPHL Elite, sure. What is his goal after he leaves you? Is it a higher level of junior hockey? So just to end that question, where do these players hope to go after they leave Mike Gennello?
Sure. So, it's different for everybody, and it's different for every organization. It's different for each player on an individual basis. For us, we like to bring guys in. We like to try to help them move on to college. We're a very college-heavy program. So whether you're on our elite, which is our junior, like second team, or you're on our premier, which is technically the higher team, right? Like, our goal is to get you in the building and move you on to college, or move you on from elite to premier and then on to college, or elite to a higher junior level and then on to college, right? Everything for us in this specific organization for the Florida Eels, everything is about getting guys in the door and moving them on. We're not trying to create the best junior hockey players, right? We're trying to create the best college hockey players. So everything for us is designed to get guys in the building and help you move on to college, whether that's NCAA D3, whether that's ACHA D1, whether that's one of the new AAU leagues, whatever it might be. Our goal is to help you find a home to play college hockey. And that's pretty much the sentiment around the league with USPHL. Most USPHL teams, you'll find it is tier 3 juniors, right? So it's pay to play juniors, but there's so many good hockey players out here. I think you were talking about it on with one of your other guests. There's just so many good hockey players nowadays that if you want to play college hockey, like, gone are the days where you can just graduate as a regular high school player who, casually played on his varsity hockey team and walk on to a random ACHA school and find a spot to play. Like, everybody's grinding, everybody's working, everybody's, trying to advance to that next level. So we've kind of like found a little bit of a market where we help guys. You know, our guys aren't destined to play in the NHL. They're not destined to make millions of dollars playing professional hockey. But our guys are going to come in. They're going to learn and develop a good work ethic. They're going to learn how to, be a productive member of society. Learn how to work towards a goal, and they're going to hopefully move on to a good college spot where they're going to be able to succeed, and not just go in and be a member of the team, but go in and play and be a productive member of the community and the hockey team itself.
It's actually kind of refreshing to hear, like, even if it's club hockey, like you're considering, like if a kid goes to a good D1, D2, D3 club hockey school and they're happy about it and the school is excited to have them, and you know that they're gonna thrive and they're gonna get a good education, they're gonna play, you consider that a win.
100%. Yeah, 100%. We don't make any distinctions. Like when we tell people we have 28 this year, or going back to last year, 28 college advancements, like we don't make that distinction. Like, oh, 8 of them are NCAA D3 and this one's AAU D1 or ACA. No, like we move guys onto college hockey, and that's that's what our goal is. Now, every organization has different goals. Every league has different avenues that they want to send people through. But for us, it's we want to move guys on to college hockey, and whatever level that is that best suits you. Perfect example for you. They had a kid last year who played on the elite team, was probably the best player in the elite team, one of the best players in the elite division in general. Guy probably could have easily played NCAA Division III college hockey, but he wanted to go to a very specific program in school. And so you're not going to compromise just to say I played NCAA hockey. You're not going to compromise your path in life. You're not going to compromise, what you want to study. So this kid was able to find a very good ACHA Division I program that he's going to, that he's able to study in the field that he wants to study in. The kid's going to become a doctor. He's going to end up making tons of money as a doctor, right? But it's finding that avenue for him to do that while he's playing college hockey. That's what we're here for. That's what we're trying to do.
So that's very similar to, we spoke with Jackson Reimer last episode, and that's kind of what he was talking about. He's a very, very good hockey, and in the landscape of things, he's a very, very good hockey player. He's got, he has opportunities to keep playing juniors and try to play at higher levels if he wanted to, but he has sort of made the realization that, like, he wants to be a superintendent at a very nice golf course as a full-time career, which is, it's a growing industry, obviously. And he's going to go to Penn State, and he's going to play, try to play club college hockey at Penn State, and he's going to get his degree and become, but he wants to do it. I think it's like the club hockey scene now is so fantastic in that it gives the kid like you talked about, it gives a kid like Jackson the opportunity to live out their dream of playing college hockey, because at the end of the day, it's college hockey. Fuck anybody who says is there a skill difference? Sure. Even some points there's not. When you see a lot of these D1 club teams that are playing these exhibition games against NCAA teams and are doing very, very well, they just don't have donors. The gap is closing. So college hockey is college hockey. It doesn't matter what league it's in. Spencer would disagree. He hates the ACHA AAU fight, like the little. He doesn't agree. Look at his face. He doesn't.
I just want it all under one roof.
He just wants it all. He thinks club hockey should all be under one banner, so that you can actually say, so that the person who wins D1 club can say, I'm the best D1 club team in the nation, because technically right now there's 2 leagues, so those 2 teams won't play each other. So that's Spencer's argument for that. But I think it's very refreshing to hear you just kind of talk about how any level of college is a win for any kid that wants to go play at that level, and that's how it should be.
100%. I mean, yeah. And you guys just talked to Trav in 2 episodes ago, and he was saying kind of like a similar sentiment of what we're saying here. Like, guys will give you shit just because, like, you're playing ACHA D2 or whatever it might be. It's like, okay, like, you didn't play anywhere.
Yeah,
so you wanted to have the opportunity to play college hockey, and you couldn't even do that. So it's, I mean, and this is coming from a guy who played NCAA Division III. There's nothing wrong with guys that want to go play club and play college hockey. Like, college hockey is, at the end of the day, college hockey. And there are different levels, sure, and there are different kids that put in, different amounts of work and want different things out of it. But there's a level of college hockey for everybody who wants to play college hockey. And if you're willing to work and do it, then like by all means, you deserve to have that opportunity.
Now, even for the girls, we just saw the girl. I don't want to get her name wrong off the top of my head, but it's all over Instagram right now. The girl who just signed or who just declared for the PWHL draft next season, coming straight from club college hockey. So now it's even an avenue for the women, which is fantastic. Kids, I'm just gonna say it. You spoke a little bit about it. Kids are getting so good at hockey. With just playing at this roller hockey tournament I was at. So they have the pro division during the kids divisions, obviously for a reason.
Sure.
Some of these 12U and 14U like roller divisions, these kids like they also play ice too, but you can just see the skill, the amount of Michigans going on in a youth roller hockey tournament nowadays it's insane.
I didn't even think about that. That's mind blowing.
Dude, it's crazy. It's crazy. They all do it. They all like 12-year-olds full speed. It'll be a semifinal roller hockey game. Like they're playing for a sponsor team and they're in the corner trying to do Michigans. Like the skill and the confidence on a lot of these kids is insane. You two, the swag on some of these kids nowadays. So I'm in the pisser. Real quick story. I'm in the pisser. There's probably like a 6-year-old peeing in front of me at the urinal, right? I'm waiting my turn. He gets done. He turns around, makes eye contact with me, and does one of these. It's like, you're up. He's like, he gives me the thumb, like, he's like, you're up. And I was like,
you're up, old man.
Didn't say a word, just made no fear, made eye contact with the random guy standing behind him in the bathroom. Was like, all right, your turn. And then, so I'm walking by another funny little snippet. I'm walking by this tent of probably 12-year-olds, and I'm dead tired after one of my games. I say, hey, does anybody want to play pro? I'm done. I can't do it anymore. And some kid goes, yeah, I'll do it. And I said, okay, cool. You're number 91. And he stands up, top of his lungs. He goes, Mom, I'm going pro. And then then all of a sudden you just hear her go, no, you're not. Sit down. And he's like, oh, dang. He's like, okay.
Mom said no.
Yeah. So it's the swag on some of these kids nowadays, and the skill and the swag are only going to keep getting just more and more and more. It's insane. It's insane. Spencer, you want to hop in? You got a question?
So it's actually kind of on that. So I mean, with Florida having at least a team in the last 5 Stanley Cup Finals, what is the state of Florida? Like, what's the state of hockey in Florida? Like, is your team made up of a lot of local guys, a lot of guys from the South? Like, kind of what's that makeup? And are you seeing a lot more local talent on those teams?
Sure, yeah. I mean, and I've only been down here in Florida for about 6 weeks, so it's not like I could give you the best answer on that. But, I played my 20-year-old year here for the Eels. I could tell you the difference in hockey in Florida from when I played here 8 years ago to where I'm at now with coaching, it's night and day, man. Like, these kids, they love it. They're all over it, and they're good. Like, if you look at AA nationals for the US at like 16 and 18U, it's Florida teams that are in there and buzzing like every single year. And part of that is there's really only like 1 or 2 AAA programs in Florida, but there's enough talent to probably have like 5 or 6. Right, so there's so many kids that are just playing like AA or they come play USPHL Elite or whatever it is. But yeah, the state of hockey in Florida, it's booming down here, and there's tons of parents that are willing to put the resources into helping their kids succeed. Maybe 10 years ago that wasn't the case, and it was hard to find ice and stuff in Florida. But it is there are people that are here willing to put the resources to see kids succeed, and there are kids that are falling in love with the game of hockey every single day. So it is growing exponentially. Like it is popping off down.
And where are you guys? Where's the team?
We're Fort Myers, so we're about an hour and a half, 2 hours.
Florida Gulf Coast. Yeah, you guys are Florida Gulf Coast University.
Okay.
That's yes.
From us,
which is a sick club option for any player listening. Florida Gulf Coast is a nasty university with really good teams year in and year out with multiple national championships. Spencer, the landscape is so politics. Am I frozen?
No, you're good.
Okay, just checking.
Politics.
Just checking. Yeah, okay. Just checking to make sure our pets' heads aren't falling off anymore. So the politics in Southern hockey, Spencer, is what blocks a lot of states like Florida and Texas from having
Because they just don't have the
multiple.
ice, I would imagine.
No,
So the ice is just so competitive that you kind of have to be.
We do. It's just so expensive. So the part of the problem is like, I don't know the exact issue behind it, but to be a AAA program, you have to apply through your like region, like it has to be approved, right? So A, you've got to have a lot of money. B, you have got to have like support from the other teams in your community, like that if there's pushback, you're not going to be able to do it. That's why the only AAA team in Texas is the Stars Elite. But the flip side of that, like Gennello was saying, when you go to these tier 2 national tournaments, there's a ton of teams from Texas. There's a ton of teams from Florida. There's teams from Georgia. But the Southern politics in the landscape of travel hockey block a lot of those top tier 2 teams from applying and getting approved for, like the Queen City Royals in North Carolina just got approved for a AAA program, and they've been a fantastic AA program for a while now. There have been several programs here in Texas that are constantly year in and year out in tier 2 nationals for all levels, and they have a hard time getting approved for AAA status. It's
funny
wild.
you say that. I think there's a team in Portland actually applying too. Now that you say that, I think I have heard that.
Yeah, and you have to release like a whole. It's like a whole press release. It's like the whatever team are officially submitting our, blueprint to be able to whatever it is. It's really formal. So I got a question though. So you're a younger head coach, right? You're 27 years old. Like let's be honest. Let's call a spade a spade. It's very, very cool though. We see guys like a great example in the NHL was Jeremy Colleton being an NHL head coach at 33 years old, right? For somebody who is either wanting to go through the process of becoming a junior coach, or is going through the process and is just not finding a spot for different reasons, like what is the interview process like for becoming a junior coach at any, obviously specifically for the USPHL, but from what you know from any level, what is that interview process like? What are some tough questions? Like what do guys like really need to, like what would you say guys really need to make sure they've got, in line, in order to kind of make a good impression?
Sure, yeah. For every organization that's going to be different, it's going to depend on, what organization you're applying to, what they value, whether they value, recruiting connections, whether they value, how you talk with advisors. It's going to depend on each individual organization. But I'd say from the most part, you have to be able to establish that you know what you're talking about. You have a plan, right? I can show you a month's worth of practice plans that say like, I don't just go into practice on a Monday morning and say, oh, what are we going to do today? Right? Like I have a plan. I know exactly what we're going to be doing, what skill we're going to be working on. I can show you how I've developed over the course of a season. We work on a forecheck and how we develop it over the course of the year. So I would say, from a coaching only standpoint, you have to be able to show that you can develop and execute a plan on how to make your kids better over the course of the year. Obviously, that's number one. But then, just having gone through the process recently, a bunch of questions that I've been asked, a lot are like recruiting connections. What kind of recruiting connections do you have? What kind of connections do you have to help kids move on, right? Because the goal at lower levels of hockey is not just to bring a kid in and help them get better, right? We also have to help provide them an opportunity to grow and advance in the game. So how can I help you advance in the game? What kind of connections do I have to help move you on to the next level? What kind of connections do I have to bring new talent in once we've graduated our talent out? So there are questions like that. And I'd say the hardest question that I got asked through the whole process, it was actually a prep school job interview. And they asked me what market out there that's not looked at right now would be the next untapped hockey market that we have to start like recruiting kids from. So it's more than just it's more.
What does that mean? What do they mean by market?
So where in the world that they play hockey that we don't really know of that they play hockey?
Okay.
Like, kids from here could really pop off. and you and I both, from having our experience playing over in Israel, I had an easy layup answer to that question, but a lot of people, that one stumps them. Like, I don't know, Georgia maybe, right? Like Florida, you could say. Like, where is there hockey that's not really it's talked about? But for us, obviously,
I feel like that's such an easy answer to say the South. Like, yeah, like you said, like, I mean, Israel or like these different countries, I think is such a more interesting answer of, I mean, think of it. I mean, you see Switzerland just played in the World Championship final for like the second year in a row. If you would have said that 10 years ago, I think people would have thought you were nuts.
But it's all prior knowledge, right? Like he had the prior knowledge of being over there and experiencing that, like where somebody who's trying to get this head coaching job, who doesn't have overseas experience, they may give the wrong answer just based on they don't have the prior knowledge of an experience of a wrong answer, quote unquote, to that team, but they don't have that experience. So it's kind of crazy how just playing in a league like Israel can kind of give you a leg up as far as like recognizing, like, even in an answer in an interview, like, no, there's hockey here. So that's wild. That's wild.
To that, and the reason why it makes it such a tough question is, like, okay, like you can say anywhere, right? You could say South Korea. You could pick a random place, but then the follow up to that question is like, okay, like what could you do? Like, what plan do you have in place to help bring those kids over and help make them college hockey players or players for a prep school or whatever program it might be? So there's a lot that goes into the whole like recruiting side of it, and being able to, not just bring kids in and help them develop once they're here, but can you bring more guys in once you've developed guys to the next level, and can you help them actually advance to the next level after you've done your job of helping them become better hockey players, right? So it's more than just getting kids in the door and helping them get better. It's how are you going to help them succeed at the next level too.
So I've got two questions. Spencer may have some more, but I got two last questions here for you. First one being, you were also the head coach in Utah for a while for another junior team. What is the biggest difference that you see in the landscape, other than obviously the weather? But what is the biggest difference in the landscape? Like Spencer was almost talking about, do you get a lot of like homegrown talent? But what's the biggest difference in the landscape and recruiting between recruiting in a place like Utah and coming and recruiting in a place like Florida? Is it easier? Is it harder? Do you have to sell different things? Like what is that process like between just moving 7 states away or whatever the geographical number would be?
Sure. So I mean, when it comes to recruiting, yeah, I could give you a BS answer, but it is a bit easier when you're talking to a kid and say, hey, do you want to move out to Utah or do you want to move out to Florida? Right. So it's there's definitely that aspect of it, but that question really boils down to what your organization values and what the organization is actually looking for, right? And what the organization sells. So in terms of selling Florida versus Utah or Florida versus New York, Florida versus wherever, it doesn't necessarily boil down to like the weather is nicer here than it would be somewhere else. It's for us, this is what our organization does. This is what we prioritize. Like for us in Florida, we prioritize the off-ice training. We're on the ice an hour and a half every day. Yeah, obviously, but our guys don't just like show up to the rink, get on the ice and go home. Like we do an hour film every day. We're in the gym an hour a day. We have a roller rink that's right behind me. The guys go out there and have to like stick handle and shoot for an hour a day. So it's like a whole 5 hour.
Do you need a roller hockey? You need a roller hockey skills coach?
Roller experience. Yeah.
Yeah.
But so it really boils down to what your organization values and what your organization has to offer. And I've found working in a couple different organizations, this is one that really values the development of the players and really values bringing guys in and helping them develop as a hockey player and succeed at whatever level we get them to. So for me, that's what our biggest push is in recruiting here. It's like, come to a place where you're going to get better. You're going to get the opportunities to succeed. You're going to get every chance in the world to become a better hockey player. We're going to put the hours in. We're going to expect a lot out of you, but we want you to expect the same out of us to help move you to the next level, right? So that's been my big recruiting push recently. And then, the team obviously has me in a nice little apartment that has a great view of the water and some palm trees. So you throw a couple pictures in there too and kids are pretty fired up by that.
Do you golf? Do you golf with the boys? Do any of the boys or any of the boys sticks? Do you ever get out? Do you ever do you plan on any of the guys golfers? You can take. Do they get discounts anywhere? You guys get like golf discounts anywhere? What's
Oh,
what's
man,
the golf landscape
I
like for the
wish. I
team?
mean, like I said, I've only been down here for about 6 weeks, and
Yeah.
obviously it's postseason, so it's a lot of the guys are home. There's not a ton of guys that are in the area. We have a few local guys, but I know I haven't been like taking them out to golf. I've golfed with my assistant coaches a couple times, but I wish we were getting golf discounts, man. Some of the courses down here are pricey to say the least. So yeah, I wish we were getting some discounts, but yeah, we hit the links a little bit.
Okay.
I break the sticks out quite.
Okay. I got one last one. I would be remiss if I didn't ask you about this experience because it's pretty freaking cool. You won a gold medal with Team USA at the Maccabi Games, which is the Olympics held. How would you describe the Maccabi Games, very basically, real quick?
It's the Jewish Olympics.
Okay, yeah. Okay, there you go. Yeah, it's the Jewish Olympics essentially. It was held in Israel last summer. Gennello was lucky enough. I think he'd tell you the same thing. Fortunate, lucky enough, whatever it is, to represent our country of America and win a gold medal. And beat I think you guys beat Canada in the gold medal game. So to beat, you did. So to beat Canada in the gold medal game and this is high level hockey. Like these are Jewish athletes, but these are all guys that played professional hockey, NCAA hockey, like a high level of hockey, at least at some point in their life or currently. So what's that experience like, winning a gold medal for Team USA and getting to bring that home to your home country?
Yeah, it's absolutely unmatched, man. It's unbelievable. I mean, it was stressed to us right from the start by our coaching staff that, like, is it the real Olympics? No, but is it something where we get to put the USA in the red, white, and blue all across our bodies and go out and perform in our chosen sports field and perform for your country, representing your family, representing, everything you've grown up standing for. So it's truly a blessing. It was an unbelievable experience. Talking a little bit about the experience itself, it's not so bad when you're, on Team USA hockey and you get to share a hotel with like tons of other sports teams, like, Argentinian women's soccer, Brazil volleyball. It's quite the experience. It's a good time hanging out at the pool with all these other sports teams, but to strap on that logo on your chest and then go out and win a gold medal with 25 other guys that are there dedicated and trying to do the same thing. It's truly a great experience, one that I'm never going to forget. I actually loved it so much that I'm actually going to be the assistant coach for Team USA at the next one. So
congratulations.
Thank you so much.
That's sick. So okay, speaking of like the experience, you don't have to give, obviously don't have to give details, but so there's a really cool, it's just classic. You're a champion, you have a gold medal, you're the shit kind of story. You may know where I'm going with this. The after the gold medal game, just how you guys got treated, and so Spencer, there's a club in Tel Aviv. It's called Shavata. It's probably just one of the hardest ones to get into. They're very strict on age limit. Like if you're under 25, and not a female, you're getting punched in the face and then getting taken out of there. Like it's just not like they don't mess around. To explain how the night unfolded after you became a gold, just the level of professional treatment you got after you became a gold medal winner for Team USA.
Yeah, it was that's certainly a night I'm never going to forget. I made a couple jokes because that was my farewell party, right? That was my last high level hockey game. So I made a couple jokes over the course of that night. I was like, this is it. Like it's all downhill from here. But it was, man, that night was incredible. We got into the locker room after the game, and behind the scenes, you look back at it. Me and the other captains, we had set it all up. So there was a lot of work that went into it, and a lot of I guess you could say putting our nuts on the line, expecting to win. But we had it set up. We had, a whole bunch of stuff in the locker room for after the game, champagne bottles, drinks and everything like that. And getting to the locker room after, obviously it's a whole big party in there. And we got it set up to have a bus take us from Jerusalem which is about an hour and a half drive from Shalvata. The bus picked us up at the arena, picked us up with a couple other people that we had invited. We all tossed the jerseys on, had the gold medals. Bus dropped us off right in front of the club. Had a VIP escort like from the front door. They're holding up like gold medal signs and everything for us.
So sick.
That's beautiful.
All the way back to a table, and then the rest of the night is the rest of the night there.
Yeah, the rest of the night's the rest of the night. But just the bus.
Yeah, we shut that place down for sure. Let me tell you.
Yeah, and that place doesn't get publicly shut down till 6 a.m. So for somebody else to shut it down, but to just the fact that you're a gold medal winner. You're an hour and a half away from one of the most amazing cities in the world with one of the most amazing clubs in the world. A bus picks you up, just a full party, a full hour and a half through the traffic, all the way down back to Tel Aviv. You get off the bus, you don't have to wait in a line. They're Team USA gold medal just waiting for you. You just walk right through. You just must have felt like the fucking man.
Yeah. I was on top of the world, man. I can't lie to you. And then, hey, funny story about that. So we closed down Shalvata. It's like 6 o'clock in the morning. We corral everybody back onto the bus, which was hectic getting everybody back onto the bus. But get all the boys back. Everybody has their +1 that they have, whatever, coming back on the bus, and we get back to our hotel. And mind you, the hotel we're at is like the main hotel for all the teams in the whole Maccabi game. So it's not just Team USA that's there. It's like all these other sports and everything. So hockey, the gold medal game was the first gold medal game for the whole Olympics. So we get back to the hotel. There are gold medal games the next day, but it's 7 o'clock in the morning. We want to keep the party going. So, we're heading into breakfast. Still trying to keep the party going, obviously, and there are people in there like just waking up, trying to like mentally prepare for their gold medal game.
Yeah, the Taiwan racquetball team's like, shut the fuck up.
And we're just still partying at the table, having breakfast. Just being clowns, being guys that just won a gold medal, right? And
guys being dudes.
It was quite the night, quite the morning. We had a kid go swimming in like the hotel fountain when we got back from the bar. Yeah, that was quite a night.
That's beautiful.
Sure.
That is beautiful. That is beautiful. I just wanted to hear that from the horse's mouth. Spencer, do you have anything for him?
No, I think that's a perfect place to end.
I think we end on you're the fucking man and you've got a gold medal and I don't. So
we definitely appreciate you coming on. Good luck to you and the boys this season. Hopefully we can get you on, sometime during the season and hear how you guys are doing.
We'll get it. We'll have to get it approved again, but let's maybe do a mid-season check-in with you and see how the team is doing and see what the landscape is like halfway through the year. But looks like you guys have been signing some good players. I've been following the Instagram. Looks like recruiting has been going pretty smoothly for you guys. You guys have got some guys coming back. So how's the squad looking for this year? Obviously no predictions, but what are we expecting here? We're expecting a good team. We're expected to rock and roll and get some shit done here, or what?
Yeah, I'll tell you exactly what we expect, Stinch. We expect we expect guys that are going to show up. They're going to want to compete. They want to get better. We're going to get better every single day, and hopefully at the end of the year we finish it with a couple rings around our fingers. So that's
fuck yeah.
Is absolutely.
Fuck yeah, I love it.
Coach Gennello.
I want you, and so now we all know when I say fuck you, Gennello. When I say we, Gennello hates when I talk about the Dallas Stars and I say we because I am not on the team.
Yeah, I was gonna say you can't get through this whole process and just cower behind a corner without bringing that up. This guy,
yeah,
we.
You know what?
You
know what? I'm correct because I have heard many of interviews with professional athletes who have been asked, do you care when people say we? And they say, fuck no, because it is we. The fans, the team, everybody, it's we. We can't do what we do without them. They can't do what they do without us. It's a revolving door of we. So fuck you. Okay.
It's 100%. I'm gonna tell you that I absolutely agree with you, but I'm just a bitter old fuck that never made it. Hey, so I'm gonna get mad when people say we because I'm the guy that never made it. So there.
Yeah, no, I know it was hard for me to let that go, but now in my own mind, I made it in my own way. So now I feel comfortable saying
there you go.
we. So, buddy, we can't thank you enough for coming on. Really appreciate the time. Let your management know if they care. Thank you for allowing you to be here. Hopefully the boys will listen. Hopefully get the boys to listen and they enjoy the interview with their head coach.
Absolutely.
So yeah, good luck on the season, man. We'll check in and I'll obviously we'll talk here pretty soon.
Sounds good. Thanks, Cinch.
Okay.
Thanks, appreciate you guys.
All right, buddy. We'll see you later.
See ya.
And that was head coach of the Florida Eels, Michael Gennello. Can't thank him enough for coming. I'm sorry about my internet, people.
Playing junior hockey in Florida.
Spencer,
remember Bakersfield.
Spencer, remember when our first nationals in Fort Myers? We went to campus and their dorms were on. They had their own private beach for their dorms.
I just can't even imagine.
Like it's
silly.
Just forget junior hockey. Forget junior hockey. Imagine college hockey. But it's the same thing that ASU. It's so easy for Arizona State to recruit D1 to have a good D1 hockey school right out of the gate because who the fuck? What Canadian
easy recruiting package? Go to the coldest place in Canada and any place that they play.
You go to bumfuck Alberta and you say, come to the palm trees. We're
come to the beach, baby.
Full ride, full scholarship. It ain't hard. So that's just the landscape of hockey. I love it though. Yeah, it's cool. It's going to give teams opportunities. It's going to give more kids opportunities. So it's fantastic. Please, if you have not, check out all of the social media and see all of the content that I dropped instead while I was at the Wish Cup. And again, shout out the Wish Cup. I will talk about it. The Stanley Cup final. We don't need to get too much into it. We don't need to, my fucking Stars lost. It is what it is. I do have to get fuck you. I do have to get that meme that I sent you guys. I am Michael Scott. I am dead inside. I still don't know how to feel when you think it's your year and you're so good and that happens. It's just so. Now I will say this: the Edmonton Oilers are fucking pussies because the cross check on Connor McDavid in Game 5 was a fucking bullshit call, and then Chris pussy ass Knobloch went into the media and bitched and complained about how his players are the best in the world and they don't get fucking calls. And then the next fucking game was a fucking gong show. So fuck you for that, Chris Knobloch. You should have just manned up and took it on the chin, but you had to involve the media. You had to play media games, which fair enough. To each their own. That's what you do when you're a head coach. You influence the media and hopefully it influences your game, and it did. But that's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. But I brought up the Oilers. I've got to get a finger tattoo covered up. We won't talk too much. We won't talk too much about that. So I think I'm just going to have them do an oil drip on the finger and just call it. We'll call it good, and I'll pay my bet that way, and I'll live my life with a fucking Oilers tattoo. So that solves that dilemma. Other than that, you have anything else?
Nope, that's all I got.
All right. Well, Spencer, tee 'em high, let 'em fly. That is the Fairway Four Checks podcast. Hit 'em with it.
Peace.